Hi, this is Superwoman Group.
This is Janet.
This is Amira.
Our topic for second project is development of growth and nutrition in adolescent stage. We choose this subject because this stage is critical in human life, and it is very important to know about the physical changes, growth, and nutrition, as well as how adolescents can deal with these changes to avoid any problems that may affect their future.
We have many questions in our mind about adolescent stage, so let's go to find out answers for our questions from interviewed Dr. Crystal in Kinesiology Department. Let's go, Janet.
Okay, let's go.
Hello, hi, I'm Amira Owen, and how are you, Doctor?
I'm doing just fine, Amira. Great to see you.
Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Crystal Branta. I'm a professor here in the Kinesiology Department at Michigan State University, and my specific area of specialty is growth and motor skill development of children and youth.
Thank you. We are very appreciated for having us, and we have some question about adolescent stages. Our first question is, what age the adolescent starts changes physically for girls and boys, and when this stage finish?
The adolescent stage really encompasses a wide range of ages, and it will vary for boys and for girls. So let's talk about girls first. For girls, typically adolescence can start as early as 9 years of age, but for most girls it starts a little bit later than that. And some will be earlier maturers, some will be later maturers, but the average age of peak growth in adolescence is around age 12 for girls and around age 14 for boys. But some of the changes will begin in the late childhood years at 9, 10, 11, and adolescence often goes through, as far as growth is concerned, through the teenage years. But there'll be some individuals who go earlier and some who grow later. The earliest maturers can go as early as 9 or 10 and all the way into 17 or 18 for girls. Mm-hmm. For boys, you might have 10 and a half and 11 and all the way into the 20s. Wow. Some boys that we've measured are coming back during their college years to continue to be measured because they're still growing.
Okay. What do you mean about the peak period?
Peak period of growth?
Yeah, peak period of growth.
Well, when individuals are in their growth spurt, it means that they are growing very rapidly, and that's that adolescent or pubertal growth spurt. And the peak growth means the year that the individual is growing most rapidly. Their speed of growth is the greatest. They have the greatest velocity of growth occurring, and that's called peak height velocity. So that's the peak growth spurt.
Okay, and there's another question. What kind of changing, like growth changing during adolescence, boys and girls?
What are the physical growth changes that are occurring and so forth? Okay. Well, there's several. Number one is that you'll see the outward changes in height and weight. So a tremendous amount of growth is occurring in the legs and in the trunk of the body, so that the individual's height is growing. They're depositing a lot more weight on their body, a lot of muscle tissue, bone weight, and fat tissue. And also the changes that are occurring during these times are what's called the secondary sex characteristics. Those are the more adipose fatness for the females, development of breast tissue, axillary hair. For boys, the voice changes, more axillary hair, more musculature. So you've got the secondary sex characteristics, which help show maturation of the reproductive system, and you've got the physical changes of height and weight that are occurring during that time as well.
Is there many factors that interact with this growth for girls or boys? I mean, like nutrition or the culture or genetic?
What are the factors that are predominant? Yeah. The predominant factor associated with the timing of adolescence is genetics. Mm-hmm. That maturation is a biological clock that is determined primarily by the parents and when they had their maturation, when they had their peak growth, so to speak. And so genetics is by far the predominant factor. There are contributions, though, that factors such as nutrition make. Proper nutrition is very important for the development of all of the cells of the body. And someone can reach their genetic potential for their height if they've had very good nutrition from infancy and childhood and through adolescence. For example, if adolescents get the proper intake of calcium and vitamin D, then their bones can grow the best. They have the best deposition of bone. You have protein and all the different vitamins that help the muscles develop and the different organs of the body. So nutrition plays a critical piece in reaching potential. If someone doesn't have good nutrition, it could slow maturation down. For example, it would have to be very stressful, though, very forceful lack of calories, essentially. There were reports that some gymnastics teams in some countries restrict the diet for their teenage girls to keep them in very childlike bodies so that they don't go through maturation during the time of, say, an Olympic event or World Games or something of that nature. But it would have to be pretty drastic for stressors, for nutrition, to play a key role in maturation, but it could be delayed. But the primary factor is genetics.
Mm-hmm. If child have if everything is okay, and you mentioned the genetic potential, so how the scientists know that this this child will reach his genetic potential? It's just girls follow their mom and boys follow their dad, or not?
Some research shows that a term called mid-parent height will give us a good indication of how tall a child will be.
Okay.
And that boys lean more toward being like their dads and girls lean more toward being like their moms. However, there's other research that's also shown that each generation gets a little bit taller. That's called a secular trend. And if there's someone who has a genetic potential of being 6 feet tall, and they get really good nutrition and they get good physical activity and they have supportive environments without a lot of stressors, then they'll probably reach that potential. But if someone is in an environment and they don't get the right nutrients, they don't get good exercise, and they can't build their bodies, and they may not reach their potential even if the parents' genetics are there. But the combination of the father and mother together certainly contributes to the genes. But overall, the girls tend to follow the mothers and the boys tend to follow their fathers a little bit more.
Okay, and what kind of common problems that adolescents usually face during their growing?
Well, I think there's several common problems that adolescents face during their growth. One is that there's such rapid changes occurring in the body that can be very unsettling to kids or to individuals. Their bodies change so rapidly, they don't understand what's going on. The hormones are circulating tremendously throughout the body, and that can be unsettling and frustrating for the individual. They don't know why they get so angry at certain things, or why they want to just go out and run all the time, or so forth. But so it can be unsettling because of all the rapid changes. That's number one. Number two, they may not think that they're very normal, when we should be saying this is a normal occurrence. So they start to think they're different. And for adolescents, being different is hard.
Yes.
They like to be alike, they want to fit in with a group and so forth, and when they're different, it's hard. Thirdly, some individuals can be very cruel and tease individuals. So early maturing girls may get teased because their body's changing and they're the only ones in their group who's changing right now. And late maturing boys can be teased because they don't have the muscles that their other friends have, or they're still small and they don't have the height that their friends have. So some of the teasing or hazing that goes on, the actual physiological changes that upset the balance of the body are all part of that. And adolescence can also affect how somebody is able to perform sports skills, so that they could become kind of awkward or clumsy during that adolescent phase because their body is changing so rapidly. So that could all be potential problems during adolescence.
Okay. You talked about they have awkward during their growth, so what kind of things? Could we make an example for that?
Sure. Adolescent awkwardness occurs typically when you've got an individual who's been a very good athlete, a very good mover, that sports comes easy to them, they've got a lot of power, they've got good timing. And many times, it doesn't happen with everyone, it happens only probably about 20% of the time, and it happens more often for boys than girls. And adolescent awkwardness means that because their body changes so rapidly, that their timing is off, their power and strength is different, and they haven't learned to coordinate all that together yet to perform a skill. One example is a golfer who was a very good golfer in high school, and one year grew 8 inches. And after he grew, he couldn't hit the ball as well as he had normally been able to hit the ball. So one of my sports psychology colleagues counseled him to keep practicing and allow his body to catch up, and that his skill would come back.
To adapt the whole changing, right? So like you get higher, get stronger, so you may not get used to, because you know the way how to hit the ball, but right now you can't really do it because everything's changing. Long arms, high weight, really high, and so that will be affect they won't be as good as before the changing, right?
Absolutely, you've got the idea, because the changes occur in how long the arms and legs are, and how much muscle mass is around a joint, and where the center of gravity is, and that all makes a difference in how we can perform as individuals. And when that's all changing, it takes time for individuals to learn to adapt and to coordinate all of the body together again to perform skills effectively.
My last question is about how parents, society, and schools, and all the environment can cooperate together to help adolescents to face this problem and to have a good knowledge about their changing. And do you think here in America you already handle those kind of problems?
Oh, I don't think we handle all those types of problems. No, I think we handle some of them very well, and in some schools and families and communities, they're handled better than others. What I think would be helpful are, first of all, for adults to understand that these phases are normal, and that there's a wide variety of normal. There's early matures, there's average matures, there's late matures. Everybody goes through the cycles, but they go through them at different times, and it's genetically driven, so it's nothing the child can do to change it. So first of all, the adults who work with children, whether it be teachers or coaches or parents, could help children if they themselves understood that this is normal. Secondly, I think the adults need to convey to the children, this is normal. These are changes everybody has. At some point in your life, you're going to go through adolescence. You're going to grow a lot. You're going to change a lot, and then that's your preparation for adulthood. But people go through that at different rates. And I think if we make accommodations and help children and support them in nurturing environments, that they will get through this phase easier than if they have to face it alone or they don't understand what's happening.
Okay, thank you very much.
After we got the answer from professor, let's go to ask the students about their physical changes in adolescence stage.
Hi, how are you? I'm Amira.
Hi, fine, how are you?
Can you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Symphony Hamilton. I am a senior at Michigan State University. My major is interdisciplinary humanities.
We have some question about adolescent stages, especially physical changes. So, do you remember when your bodies physically change at any age?
Yes, I began my menstrual cycle at 9. So at that point, I began to develop breasts and everything else.
Mm-hmm. How about like weight and tall? It began before or at the same time?
I was always kind of chunky, but at that point when I was 9, I began to just like develop everywhere, like the butt, the breasts. I never really got tall because I'm short.
Do you surprise about these changes, or already you have an idea about it from your parent or school teacher? Or?
Yeah, wasn't surprised. My mom told me actually like a couple of days before I actually started my menstrual. She was like, oh, well, this is going to happen to you, and, you know, it's okay to feel a certain way or whatever. So, yeah. Kind of prepared.
Okay. Did you remember any like negative effect in your body controls, like you're clumpy or you used to run faster?
Yes. When I was in elementary school, I used to be so embarrassed because my boobs were so big compared to the other girls. So I used to like run and try to hold my boobs at the same time. It was like embarrassing. So it was kind of weird to feel like I'm the only girl that has developed so quickly.
And then, did you like it or not?
No. The boys did, but I didn't. So.
Until any age, you didn't like it. All the adolescents, you didn't like it, or?
Well, actually, when I got about 13, I kind of grew into the idea like, okay, this is my body type, so I have to deal with it. So I began to like, you know, fill out in my clothes and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Good. Could you introduce yourself first?
My name is Samuel Williams. I'm a graduate student in philosophy.
Okay. I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
The first one is, do you remember when your body started changing physically, like when you were a young teenager?
Yes, around when I was pre-adolescent to teenager. I started growing really faster.
Faster? Like it suddenly just grew up like 2 feet, like something like that?
8 inches in like 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and another question is there anyone told you about those changings, like before you grows? Like your parents or school teach you about that?
We had classes in school, and they were talking to us about body changing.
Like in elementary school or when?
Junior high school.
Junior high school?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And do you like those changes?
I was uncomfortable at first because I was having knee problems. I was going so fast it caused knee problems, and so what some people call growing pains and those sorts of things, like physical growing pains.
So you can't really like adapt your changing, something like that?
Right, yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Amira. How are you?
I'm good.
Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Cassie Fineout. I'm a junior at Michigan State, and my major is Arts and Humanities.
We have some question about adolescent stages. Okay. Did you remember when your body started physical changes?
I think I was in 5th grade, so I'm like 11 maybe. Yeah, I think about that.
And did you surprise or somebody like your parent and teacher already told you about these changes?
Yeah, we have in 4th grade, I think we start like sex education, so we get told like what's gonna happen and all that stuff.
You already have a knowledge about it.
Yeah.
And do you like this kind of changes?
I guess I'd probably look like a skinny little boy if I didn't.
Yeah, but is this changes affect your body's control, like your play or your sport or something like that?
I remember I used to run a lot faster, and then I got hips and I couldn't run as fast anymore. So that was one thing.
Did you like it?
It was kind of frustrating.
Okay, thank you. After we did our interview with the expert and the student, we found that adolescence is not a really hard stage in human life. If they know how to handle it, and if they know about these changes, especially physical changes, and when and how they will change. The support usually came from parent, teacher, and society. We learn a lot from our project about physical changes from Professor Crystal and about the difference between those kind of changes between boys and girls. What's the difference between growth and maturation? These stages are natural and we have to deal with it. What about you, Janet?
Yeah, I learned another important term from the professor interview is adolescence awkwardness. Adolescence awkwardness happens to a few people when they're starting physical changes in adolescence. Like the girl we interviewed, she talked about she can run faster, but after adolescence changes, she cannot run faster as before the physical growth. But however, we cannot avoid this stage. Physical change is natural.
We hope you enjoy our project. Bye-bye.
See ya.